All right, thanks everybody for joining us today for the first in our series of Kentik Tech Talks, our educational talk series that we've started here at Kentik. My name is Justin Ryburn. I'm the Director of Solutions Engineering here at Kentik. Today we're going to be talking about resolving congestion at the network edge. As a lot of our customers start to shift to a work from home model, whether they be enterprises or educational universities, they're finding that the traffic patterns on their network are shifting with the staff and the employees that are having to move to home, and so it brings new challenges to their to the way they operate and manage their networks. And we'll talk a little bit about that today as we get into the material. For those who may not be familiar with Kentik and who we are, we were founded about 6 years ago. We're headquartered in San Francisco, have about a little over 250 customers to date, and Kentik staff of just over 90 people. Our focus as a company is on taking network traffic data and giving insights and automation to that network information, really helping our customers not only just monitor the network, but proactively understand what's going on in the network and be able to react much quicker to changes in those traffic patterns, which we'll talk about more as we go through the material. So for today's agenda, there's basically three main things we're going to cover. We'll talk about monitoring traffic at the edge of the network. We'll then go into how do we understand changes in those traffic patterns? How can Kentik help our customers very quickly see those changes and understand what's causing those changes? And then we'll talk about how the Kentik insights that we provide to our customers help with quick resolution when there are changes in those network traffic patterns. So monitoring traffic at the edge. As you may or may not know, Kentik takes in not only data from the on-prem network that could be data centers and an enterprise network, but we also take in flow logs from the three major public cloud providers, that being Microsoft Azure, Amazon AWS, and Google Cloud Platform. We take all of these traffic information into our platform, and then we help our customers understand usage across all of these complex network topologies. We help them look at traffic changes and traffic patterns over time, growth rates in their traffic, in what their capacity looks like in their network, track those week over week or month over month so that they can do forecasting and planning for when they're going to run out of capacity. So what you see here in the lower right-hand corner of the slide is we've got a customer whose growth on a particular, looks like a 10 gig link. They currently are running about 7.8, almost 7.9 gig of traffic, which equates to about 79, almost 80% utilization on that link. But it's also growing at 8% month over month. So by looking at that traffic pattern, we can tell them that they're going to hit 95% utilization on this link by this date. Now, clearly the screenshot's a little dated, but the idea here is this allows us to plan ahead. If we're looking at this at the beginning of 2018, we've got 2-month runway, almost 3-month runway to be able to plan for that type of a capacity upgrade. So it allows you to look at and plan your lead times for doing these capacity upgrades without having to download the data, put it into a spreadsheet, do a lot of the manual calculation that we saw a lot of our customers doing before they adopted the Kentik platform. Another thing that we take a look at is understanding changes in traffic patterns. And there are a lot of different examples of that, but I'll take a look at one here. We have a capability that we call CDN Analytics, and this allows us to look at how much traffic our customers have on their network by the CDN provider. So in the first visualization that you see here on the left, we can quickly and easily see that there's an increase in traffic there on January 23rd for CDN traffic. And if we dive into that a little bit more in detail, we see that that increase was mostly gaming traffic. And then we dive in even more, we can see that there's a strong time correlation between Xbox Live, PlayStation, Blizzard, so there's all seem to be having an increase at the same time. And we can drill in yet another layer deep in addition to finding out what the type of media is and who the provider of that media is, we can analyze Xbox Live as a particular OTT service provider in even more detail, and we can find out what the content is that they're providing, the name of the service, the category, what type of links that traffic is coming over, whether if I'm a service provider and I have both transit and peering relationships, I can see how much of my traffic came in over a transit connection, how much came in over a peering connection. If I'm an enterprise and I have multiple carriers that are providing me connectivity, I can see how much of that traffic came in over each one of my service providers that I'm paying for traffic. So within just a few clicks, I can go from knowing that I had an increase in traffic on my network from a particular CDN to really finding out under the hood, or the next layer deep, I guess I should say, what that traffic is made up of. In this case, Xbox Live traffic has increased significantly on the network. The next thing that we can do, in addition to reactively looking at changes in the network patterns, is be more proactive in the way that we look for traffic anomalies in traffic changes in the network. And this allows us to really dramatically reduce the time that it takes to identify that there's a problem, and then also to get to root cause. So Kentik has a very powerful insight and alerting engine that's built into our product that allows us to set either static thresholds or learned baselines and deviations against those baselines to look for traffic anomalies. So if you look at the chart we have down here in the lower left-hand corner, we can quickly and easily see that for about a 2-minute period of time on April 22nd, we had a spike in traffic that looks abnormal for our normal type of baseline of what that type of traffic would be in our network. We can quickly drill down and get more information about that. So it looks like it's coming in across a number of different interfaces. We can see the spike in the second graph there. And then we drill down even more and we can find out what is the source country that this traffic came from, is the prefix that it came in from, what ASN did it come in from, and what interfaces on my network did it come in from. So very quickly, within just a few seconds, I can go from detecting that there's a change in a traffic pattern here, whether that be an attack or just new traffic that's come online, to figuring out where it's coming from geographically, where it's coming from based on IP address and ASN information, interface information. So very quickly, I can react to that change in traffic patterns. I can go and do things like create an access list on an edge interface if I want to block that traffic. If I just want to know where it's coming from and who the user is that's creating that traffic, I can quickly get to that kind of information, contact the user as well. So there's a lot of different things you could do with this information. We also have integrations with other SaaS tools such as Slack, PagerDuty, and ServiceNow are just a few examples. And what that allows us to do is when we detect an anomaly like you see in the first panel there, we can use our integrations to send out a notification via Slack. So maybe you have an operations team that you want to get notified when there's an anomaly. We can automatically post the parameters of that anomaly into a Slack channel that you're monitoring. We can integrate with PagerDuty. So if you have something that happens after hours, maybe you want to be able to get the person who's on call paged. We can quickly integrate with PagerDuty so you can get those notifications sent out that way. And then ServiceNow. So if you want to be able to have a ticket opened up, you want your operations team to take action on, you want them to know about the parameters of the attack, we have integration with ServiceNow that allows you to automatically create tickets when these type of anomalies in traffic occur. In addition to being able to quickly drill down and find out what the pattern is, we also have the ability for you to customize everything. So if there are particular views or particular dashboards that fit into the way your team operates your networks and the way you troubleshoot certain issues in your network, everything in the Kentik platform is fully customizable so that you can go in, take a look at the traffic patterns, take a look at the anomaly, and pull up a pre-filtered pre-built dashboard that you've built that shows you that particular change in traffic, whether it's an attack or just a change in traffic pattern in various different panels with various different parameters for what it is you want to look at. So there's a lot of different things that you can do to very quickly get from understanding that there's been a change in traffic patterns to what the details of that change in that traffic pattern really are.
All right, to better illustrate this point, let's log into the Kentik portal and we'll take a look at an actual live attack that we have in our environment. So this first graph that you see here is a spike in ICMP traffic that came in to our network that we were alerted about. To get more information about this, we can click on this blue View Details button, and it'll take us to a screen that tells us a lot more information about this particular attack that came in against our network. Tells us how many thousands of packets per second we had, how much that is above the threshold that we have set for this type of traffic, for ICMP traffic. Tells us we had 231 unique source IP addresses that were a part of this attack. So this particular attack was well distributed across a number of different sources. About 7 meg worth of traffic to one destination across all 231 of these unique source IPs. You can see when the attack started and ended. I get a unique alarm ID. I know what IP address it was launched against. In this particular case, we're doing what we call custom dimension tagging, so we know that we have a customer named Pair Incorporated who was the customer that was under attack. To find a little more information about what the parameters of this attack are, we can click on this Open in Dashboard button. This will take us over to a dashboard that Kentik has pre-built for this type of troubleshooting task. It'll show us all types of different parameters about this particular attack. So the first two panels show me the source and destination ASN of this particular attack. So very quickly I can see that it came in from this particular ASN 12332. As I scroll down through some of these other panels, I can see the total bits per second and packets per second that I had for that attack. Some of the more interesting things I can see, though, is I look at the source country, and I can see that all of this attack seems to have come in from Russia. You can also see the IP of the subnets, the /24s that this came from, and by looking at those, I can see very quickly that they all seem to be part of 86.102/16 if I were to aggregate those further. So within just a few seconds, I can go from knowing that I had an ICMP attack on my network to knowing what country it came from, knowing the IP address subnets that it came from, knowing what ASN it came from. There are plenty of other things I could also add in as panels to this dashboard. Everything in this is fully customizable by a Kentik user, so if I wanted to add in interfaces, devices, any other number of dimensions, I could very easily customize this dashboard for the information that would make it easier for my troubleshooting to very quickly figure out where this attack's coming from, what the parameters are, so I can go and block that mitigation. Another thing that's very powerful in the Kentik Insight and Alerting Engine is our integrations. So if I go over to our integration screen, you'll see some of the integrations that we have in the platform, things like OpsGenie, PagerDuty, ServiceNow, Slack. These type of integrations allow our users to get notified very quickly when an alert takes place. So if we think back to the example we just saw, when that attack comes in against that particular customer, Pair Incorporated, I could get an OpsGenie ticket popped, I could get a ServiceNow ticket popped, I could get notified via PagerDuty that the attack has taken place. There's a number of different options that you could configure in the platform so that any way you want to get notified proactively when that attack takes place, you'll get that notification along with the parameters of that attack, with who the customer was, what the IP address was, and so forth.
All right, that is the extent of the material that we had pre-prepared for today. Thank you for attending. If you're interested in learning more about Kentik and what our capabilities are, you can contact us here at this email address, info@kentik.com, to schedule a demo with someone from our team, or you can also go out to our website and start a 30-day free trial. I also encourage you to keep an eye on our website at kentik.com as we schedule more of these educational Tech Talk series. Thank you for joining us today.